The following message is brought to you by the Greenhouse Neutral Foundation.
Part 2. Global Class Action. Okay, here it is from the book, our original claim. When we bought this property 30-some years ago, the trees and native vegetation were already here. Who put it here? Not man. We have lots more plants and trees that have arrived since we took up residence, and we didn't plant them either. One particular and spectacular tree variety is the wattle. These are native to Australia, not specifically indigenous to this area, but they are just as welcome. We have named these birds' bums. They are everywhere, courtesy of the native birds and bees that respectively drop and fertilize the seeds and pollinate the flowers. Without help, the animals, the birds, the insects, the wind, and even the plants themselves work without payment to help replace what we thoughtlessly chop down or plough up. I think it's about time someone stood up for their rights. If offsets are being paid for planting trees, I'm starting a class action so that all these guys get what is rightfully theirs for all the work that they are putting in. It won't be purely altruistic. I expect to take a cut, and in the interests of full and open disclosure, so there is no mistake from the outset, they have all agreed to let me have 10% as a success fee for my efforts. We are working out the fine print of the claim, but we consider that at 22 kilograms of carbon per tree per annum that we are saving you guys, we'll start the global claim at 15% of everyone's GDP. I can't get the Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Oceans to the table at present, but I can advise you that they are getting a little heated about the whole issue. And as you have completely disregarded them and their colleagues, the seas and the rivers, from any just reward at present, with only the trees getting recognition under Kyoto, etc., we'll reserve rights on their behalf once we get the legal precedent set with this claim. Now at this point, I guess some of you financial and economic analysts are doing the sums, looking at the legal outs that you might have, and how you might play hardball with us. So heads up. We've agreed to take a one-off settlement if you come to the table with what will fix to the environmental damage that you've already done, plus my cut. But the clock is ticking. If we don't get an early settlement, the claim will be asking for punitive damages backdated to pre-industrial times. We have done a back-of-the-envelope calculation and worked out that between us and the oceans, we have saved you guys, based on our collective efforts, some 40% of what would now be up there. So at 383 parts per million now, and pre-industrial based on 280 parts per million, your acknowledged, admitted responsibility, and may I say to leave in no doubt to the validity of our claim on public record, that comes to a sequestered savings of 41.2 parts per million, or 320 billion tons. I'll be anticipating your call to set the settlement date.
Zero greenhouse emissions. Find out why this best-selling book on climate change by author Bob Williamson, founder and chair of the Greenhouse Neutral Foundation, is so highly controversial. It's the information they don't want you to know about. Get your copy at www.greenhouseneutralfoundation.org.